You have seen him before. White clothes, dirty looking bag, chalk around his eyes, red cap with feathers on his head, mostly menacing and gesticulating, with few tense faces, always watching. And in that moment, you called him a name. You classified him as witch doctor, fetish priest, juju man, or even worse, different names that I cannot mention here. But Cardinal Francis Arinze, in his book Sacrifice in Igbo Religion, says those words, juju, fetish, have opened the floodgate of confusion, because that man you just labeled, he might not just be a witch doctor. He might not even be a priest. He might not even be what you think a medicine man is. There are 4 completely different figures in Igbo religious life, and most outsiders can't tell any of them apart. Today, we are going to fix that misconception. But first, let's listen to the author of the book Sacrifice in Igbo Religion, Cardinal Francis Arinze.
I went to look for books for my thesis. I was writing a doctoral thesis on sacrifice in Igbo traditional religion as an introduction to the Christian sacrifice.
We're going to be reading from the chapter 4 of the book, and the title is The Priest. Sacrifice is an act of public worship offered in the name of a community or part of it. The community fulfills this great obligation not by itself directly, but through a special person, the priest. Man has always felt the need of a special mediator between himself and the object of his worship. Aristotle sees the necessity of having priests in every society. Sacrifice and priesthood stand and fall together. The discussion on the priest, the offerer of sacrifice among the Igbos, will be done in 6 sections. In the first section, the necessary preliminary distinctions will be made. Section 2 will be the dibia. The next 3 sections will treat the priests of a spirit that has a shrine and organized cult. The 6th section is on the family priest. Number 1, types of priests. There are different kinds of priests. For the benefit of casual observer or a globetrotter, the priest among the Igbos is the individual you see by accident with old rags and a dirty bag with chalk markings around his eyes and feathers on his head. He is seen menacing and gesticulating like a madman, perhaps with a few tense faces, forming his agitated audience. At once, it is called the sorcerer, the witch doctor, the fetish priest, the medicine man, or the juju man. These terms like juju and fetish have opened the floodgate of confusion. To get matters clear, it will help to make 4 distinctions. 1. The witch doctor. 2. The herbalist. 3. The dibia. And 4. The priest or ezalose. Let's begin with witch doctor. The name means what the word says, a doctor who cures those who have been bewitched. Hence, the mix says that the great ally of the people against witchcraft is a dibia or a diviner and medicine man. Mick is correct. Not because a dibia is always a witch doctor, but because a witch doctor is always a dibia. I hope you got that distinction. The reason is that Igbo land has not been very notable for witchcraft, except in some riverine towns like Onitsha, Aguleri, and Oguta. Hence, there are not many witch doctors in Igbo land. Nothing like the great number found, for instance, among the Azande and the Nile Congo. Now let's look at the herbalist. He is a doctor who mainly treats with medicine, and in European sense of the word, he is often a hunter and knows the curative powers of many roots and leaves. Besides the general doctors, there are also specialists who cures sores, heal fevers, blood ailments, jaundice, bone fractures, and even more. However, disease is rarely regarded as purely material. Hence, these simple cures are surrounded with religious, superstitious, and even magical elements. Many herbalists may also make charms, even including ajogo, bad medicine, that is, for harm. The office of the herbalist is often performed by a dibia, though not always. Now let's look at a dibia. Who is a dibia? The dibia or diviner is the person who tells fortunes, is consulted before many sacrifices, and offers the joyless sacrifice to evil spirits. He may also be, and often is, an herbalist, and even a witch doctor where necessary. For the purposes of this discussion, the most important point is to distinguish the dibia from the priests of a known spirit. Now, who is a priest? Natives call him Ezalose. He is the official servant of a specific spirit who offers sacrifice to that spirit and ministers at its shrine. A priest is the priest of one spirit, for example, Udo, and of no other. If you are a priest of Udo, you are Ezudo. A dibia, on the other hand, is always ready to give consultations and spiritual counsel or advice, and to do all in his power to restrain evil spirits. Now, it is necessary to add that priests are also ndi dibia, that is in plural. But a dibia is not always a priest. Most priests may also be diviners and herbalists, yet the reverse is not necessarily true. Many Igbo ndi dibia are not priests of any particular spirit. I hope I did not confuse you with any of these illustrations. It is this combination of two clear-cut functions by the same individual that has puzzled many observers and caused some statements which could mislead. Many writers, even Igbos, say juju priest, and by this they mean the dibia is a diviner. The proper character of each will stand out clearer still, we hope, after the next 4 sections. Now, the dibia, the vocation. Who is a dibia? The dibia is a specialist who tells fortune, seeks to discover secrets, gives general spiritual advice, especially about sacrifices, and offers sacrifice to the evil spirits, Ichwaja, in the strict sense. The clearest and indispensable sign of a vocation to be a dibia is possession by a spirit Ago, which is the special spirit of Ndi dibia. That is Ndi dibia, the plural form of a dibia. The spirit of giddiness, rascality, discomposure, confusion, and forgetfulness. Mo basauchi, a person possessed by Ago, can be holding a key in his hand and yet be searching for it frantically in his room. Talking during sleep or when alone is a symptom of his presence. Ago scatters the brain of a person. Ago scatters the brain, hence he is also called Mwerieri Ekeke, Mmontunyenku, or Mwakose, in brackets, spirit of confusion. He can also send the possessed man many worries, a chain of misfortunes, deterioration of crops, financial breakdown, etc., which will convince a pagan Igbo man that Agwo wants him to be a dibia in the service of the god of divination or second sight, as Mick calls him. The person so possessed, that is Onya Agwowalo, at once consults a fortune teller who explains to him that Agwo takes no refusal. The possessed person has simply to choose between accepting or running mad, or at least being a little insane. He has to accept and perform the preliminary sacrifice, Iluago, before beginning his training and initiation. It is natural, says Westerman, that when a person has been summoned by a deity so directly, he should feel personally and forever bound to it. And then, such an experience may be a turning point in his life. I hope you are enjoying this teaching. It is from the book Sacrifice in Igbo Religion by none other than Cardinal Francis Arinze. This is part of the work he carried out during his doctoral thesis, and now he is one of the most respected cardinals at the Vatican. We will continue this series subsequently, but if this is your first time of coming across any of our videos, I'm encouraging you to please hit the subscribe button so that when we continue this series, you will be among the first set of people to see the video. But please let us know in the comment section, have you been mistaking a dibia from a diviner or a fortune teller? Each time you see somebody dressed like a dibia, do you easily say they are dibia, or do you think they are priests? Onye kwesịrị ịkpọ eze alụsị, ị na-akpọ ya dibia? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Let's discuss. Until next time, I remain Prince Onwadenem Ngozi Chukwuka, and I will see you in my subsequent videos. Bye!